Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The book Bidayatul Hidayah is one of the monumental works of Imam Ghazali that serves as a concise guide to starting a servant's spiritual journey toward obedience to Allah. This book is often referred to as an introduction or the first step to achieving perfect guidance. In the first part, Imam Ghazali discusses the manners and procedures for purification and prayer, which are the foundation of all worship. After understanding the manners of purification and prayer, Imam Ghazali proceeds to the next chapter, which discusses the manners of interacting with fellow human beings and the Creator. He emphasizes the importance of guarding the tongue, avoiding traits of envy, ostentation, and arrogance, as well as instilling the trait of humility or tawaduk. In this part, we are invited to cleanse the heart from various spiritual diseases in order to receive higher guidance. In the third part, Imam Ghazali provides guidance on avoiding sins and disobedience, both outward and inward. He explains how our body parts, such as the eyes, ears, tongue, and heart, must be guarded from forbidden things. This is a form of self-protection, so that the guidance we have obtained does not fade due to our own negligence. In the third part, Imam Ghazali provides guidance on avoiding sins and disobedience, both outward and inward. He explains how our body parts, such as the eyes, ears, tongue, and heart, must be guarded from forbidden things. This is a form of self-protection, so that the guidance we have obtained does not fade due to our own negligence. After you understand how to avoid disobedience, Imam Ghazali leads us to the discussion on the manners of obedience. At this stage, you are invited not only to perform worship routinely, but also to do it with sincerity and full awareness. He emphasizes that true obedience does not lie merely in the quantity of deeds, but in the quality of the heart that accompanies them. In the next stage, Imam Ghazali explains the importance of maintaining manners in every daily activity. He provides guidance on how sleeping, eating, and social interactions can be considered acts of worship if done in accordance with the Sunnah and Islamic manners. Thus, our entire lives can be transformed into a series of acts of obedience to him. Next, Imam Ghazali teaches about the importance of istiqamah, or consistency in practicing deeds. He reminds that the guidance that has been obtained must continue to be maintained and enhanced through patience and prayer, as well as by continuously purifying intentions solely for Allah. With istiqamah, we can face various tests and temptations on the spiritual journey toward His pleasure. As the conclusion of this book, Imam Ghazali reminds us of the essence of servanthood and the importance of always feeling watched by Allah in every breath. He asserts that knowledge and action must go hand in hand, where knowledge becomes the lantern and action becomes the tangible proof of our obedience. By practicing the teachings of Bidayatul Hidayah, we are expected to attain His pleasure and live in blessings. Let's examine in more detail the manners of waking up mentioned in Bidayatul Hidayah. Imam Ghazali recommends that when we first awaken, we should remember Allah with dhikr, such as reciting the supplication upon waking and reflecting on His greatness. After that, it is recommended to perform ablution immediately and offer the tahajjud prayer or the Fajr Sunnah prayer before the time for the Subuh prayer arrives. Okay, let's examine the manners of relieving oneself. Imam Ghazali suggests that we enter the bathroom by leading with the left foot and reciting the supplication before entering. Inside, we are prohibited from facing or turning our back to the Qibla. We should not speak, and it is recommended to clean oneself with the left hand and maintain the cleanliness of the area. Afterward, we leave by leading with the right foot and reciting the supplication upon exiting. Let's examine the manners of ablution. Imam Ghazali emphasizes the importance of starting with an intention and reciting the Basmalah. When washing the limbs of ablution, it is recommended to start with the right, conserve water, and perfect the washing in accordance with the taught guidelines, as well as reciting the supplication after the ablution is complete. Let's examine the manners of entering the mosque. Imam Ghazali suggests that we lead with the right foot when stepping inside and recite the supplication for entering the mosque. Inside the mosque, it is recommended to immediately perform the Tahiyatul Masjid prayer, maintain peace and quiet, and occupy oneself with dhikr or reciting the Quran. When leaving, one should lead with the left foot and recite the supplication for exiting the mosque. Let's examine the manners of performing the obligatory prayers, Salat Fardu. Imam Ghazali emphasizes the importance of praying on time in congregation at the mosque for men by paying attention to perfect purity, tahara, khusyuk, concentration, in movements and recitations, and presenting the heart as if standing before Allah. Every movement of the prayer must be performed with stillness and composure, tumaknina. Let's examine the manners of fasting. Imam Ghazali explains that true fasting is not merely refraining from eating and drinking, but also guarding all body parts from sinful acts. The eyes must be guarded from forbidden views, the tongue from gossip and lies, and the heart from bad thoughts. Thus, fasting serves as a means for the true purification of the soul. Let's examine the manners of reading the Quran. Imam Ghazali recommends that we always be in a state of purity when reading it. Recite it with tartil and deep reflection, tadabbur, to understand its meaning, and present a sense of khusyuk, concentration, as if listening to the words of Allah directly from Him. Let's examine the manners of interacting with parents and teachers. Imam Ghazali teaches us to always respect them, speak softly, and obey their commands as long as they do not contradict the Sharia. Similarly, toward teachers, we should show an attitude of humility and appreciate the knowledge they convey. Let's examine the manners of guarding the body, limbs, and senses. Imam Ghazali reminds us that every organ of our body will be held accountable. The eyes must be guarded from forbidden views, the ears from listening to gossip or evil, the tongue from lying and hurting, and the hands and feet from doing injustice. By guarding all of these, we are kept away from sins and stay on the path of guidance. Let's examine the manners of speaking. Imam Ghazali teaches that the tongue is a great blessing that must be shown gratitude for, one of which is by guarding speech so it is only used for good. He strictly forbids lying, gossiping, slandering, and excessive vain talk, because the words spoken will be recorded and held accountable. Let's examine the manners of sleeping. Imam Ghazali suggests that we sleep in a state of purity, recite dhikr or verses of the Quran before sleeping, and intend to wake up to perform worship at night. He also recommends a sleeping position, in accordance with the Sunnah, to maintain bodily health. Let's examine the manners of seeking knowledge. Imam Ghazali reminds that the intention in studying must be sincere for the sake of Allah, not to seek popularity or worldly gain. He also encourages practicing the knowledge gained and spreading it so that the knowledge becomes blessed. Let's examine the manners of interacting with fellow Muslims. Imam Ghazali teaches us to always fulfill their rights, to love for them what we love for ourselves, and to avoid all forms of actions that could hurt their feelings or their physical well-being. By doing so, Islamic brotherhood can be well preserved. Let's examine the manners of guarding the heart and always feeling watched by Allah. Imam Ghazali emphasizes the importance of purifying the heart from blameworthy traits such as self-amazement, ostentation, and envy. With a pure heart, we can achieve true piety, where all the deeds we perform are based on love and fear of Him. Let's examine the manners of repentance and seeking forgiveness from Allah. Imam Ghazali teaches that true repentance must fulfill its conditions, which are regretting the sins that have been committed, having a strong determination not to repeat them, and asking forgiveness from the person who has been wronged if it relates to the rights of fellow human beings. Let's examine the manners of avoiding the trait of hypocrisy and maintaining the sincerity of the heart. Imam Ghazali asserts that a servant must always introspect so that their deeds are free from the traits of ostentation and hypocrisy, and are sincere solely for the sake of seeking His pleasure, so that their worship is accepted and valued by Allah. Let's examine the manners of praying. Imam Ghazali teaches that we should pray with full conviction, humble ourselves before Allah, choose times that are mustajab, and begin and end our prayers with praises and sending blessings upon the Prophet. May blessings and peace always be upon him. As a concluding paragraph, it is important to understand that Bidayatul Hidayah is not just reading, but a map of the spiritual journey. The core of its teachings teaches that the perfection of a servant lies in the combination of correct worship practices and the cleanliness of a sincere heart. By practicing every manner taught, we are expected to continue to draw closer to Him and attain His pleasure and forgiveness in every step of life. May this in-depth discussion on Bidayatul Hidayah provide benefits and increase the spiritual insight of us all. Thank you for this excellent opportunity to discuss. May we always remain in His guidance and pleasure. And with Allah is success and guidance, and may the peace, mercy, and blessings of Allah be upon you.